Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Bushcraft Family here. And today with this video is going to be slightly different. Now I know a lot of people from this channel are hardcore preppers and they've been doing it for a few years and things like that. But every once in a while I get questions of how to start prepping and what I should be doing and things like that. And there, again, some of these ideas and suggestions are some that might be overlooked by seasoned preppers themselves. So I come up with a basic blueprint of prepping. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. Basic blueprints of prepping. We'll go with that for right now. But like I said, this is just basic 5-step of prepping. 5 categories of prepping, I guess it would be. Now I know there's a lot more. There's like things like off-grid power sources, generators, and there's personal safety, security, things like that. That's not going to be in this. Now, before I get started with this, I want you guys who's out there listening, if you're already prepping, you're well knowledgeable in prepping and whatnot, to go ahead and post your ideas of prepping and things like that. Some categories in there that you might add in, or ideas, things like that. Because a lot of people that do come to my channel that have not so much knowledge in this, they do go in and check out the comments, and there's a lot to learn from people that watch this channel, and I would love for you guys to share your knowledge with them by commenting below. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We have the very basic thing, and I started with food this time instead of the water, so we're going to go with the food first. Is build a food supply. Now, getting started with this, it's good to have an emergency stockpile of food, and there's many different versions of this type of food that you can get. But the best way is to determine how much food you're going to want and stuff like this. Go ahead and prep 2 weeks of food for your whole family and set that aside and look at it and whatnot. And you can kind of determine that's going to be a lot of food. So there's many means that you can do this. There's canning. There's different types of there's short time food, there's long time like beans and rice, that normal stuff, and there's freeze dry, there's dehydrated stuff. I'm not going to go through every little step that you can do, but some ideas of how much food you're going to want and things like that. And there's ways of calculating this. Now, TJ Preps did a video about this, so I'm going to go ahead and link her video in the description below. So make sure you go and check that out. Now, like I said, one of the best ways to do it is to try to stockpile 2 weeks of food for your whole family, and to kind of find out exactly how much that is. And you'll be surprised how much it really is for 2 weeks. Now, there are other ways of figuring this out. There is by just weight. You can weigh yourself and you multiply that by 15, and that's your daily calorie consumption of what you need, basically. And then there's, like, the best way I could explain it is if you go to check out TJ's, that's probably the simplest way I can put it. There's other ways of calculating each calorie in your rice and this and that. But like I said, it's much simpler if you just go check out her video with that. But there's many ways of there's canned foods. You want to have your protein, your meat, um, the long shelf life stuff like rice, beans, and you want to to prep things that your family likes to eat. Um, Say none of your family likes rice. Why get 100 pounds of rice if nobody in the family likes rice? Because it's a morale booster, or not a booster, but the opposite. um, it's just something that you want to make sure that you can actually you like what you're eating, because if not, it's not going to go well for a family that, God forbid, something bad happens and you're 6 months in and all you're eating is the same thing over and over and over again, and nobody likes it. Oh, it's not going to go over well. So now the next thing would be water, and usually I go for water first because it's usually the first thing that everybody kinds of slides on a little bit. And water is the most important because you can go weeks without food, but you can only go a few days without water. So, and the first thing you're going to want is how to store your water and how to have different types of water. We'll get into mostly the different other types of water down the road here a little bit. But storing water, it's pretty simple. There's some certain ways that you want to do it. You also want to have different ways of collecting water, purifying it, filtering it, and all that stuff. So you're going to want to have um, you look at it. The average person needs a gallon of water a day, and that's including hygiene and washing. And that's the bare minimum. If you're just sitting in a corner not doing a dang thing the whole day except just waiting. Now, if it's summertime and you're actually out working, you're cutting wood, gathering eggs, getting working in the garden or something, you're going to need double that amount of water. So you have to think about that. 1 gallon of water per person a day. You got 6 people in your family, that's 6 gallons of water a day. Bare minimum. That's the very least that you would need. So look at it that way. Now, it's about impossible to store a year's worth of water in your house. There's people that live out in the country, they can get them big tanks. That's okay and everything. They have a well or something. Now, that goes into other things. If you have a well that's been drilled, it's 100 feet down under the ground. Your power goes out. You have no ways of powering your pump. You need to figure out how to get that water out. So that's another thing to think about. Um, Again, storing water. If you store water in 5 gallon containers or 55 gallon drums, the plastic ones, make sure it's food grade ones. Um, Make sure it's not setting in concrete, because concrete and plastic, there's a chemical reaction that will eat the plastic of that container, and it'll contaminate your water. So, and another misconception about water is water will go bad. Technically, no. If you store water the right way, it will never go bad. It'll go stale, but it will not go bad. The only time that goes bad is if heat or moisture or something breaks the seal or something like that, bacteria gets in there, then you're going to have to purify that water. And there's many ways of doing it. There's bleach, there's tablets, boiling water, filters, and things like that. Now, I'm not going to go into every little detail. I'm just giving you the basic layout, the basic blueprint. Like I said before, basic blueprint of prepping. Okay, now the next thing is you have your food and you have your water. Now you got to cook it. So make sure you have a good way or a good source to cook your food, be it a wood stove, gas powered, kerosene powered. I don't know if powered's the right word for it, but some way of creating heat to cook these things. There's always MREs and stuff like that, but again, you're going to want to be able to cook your food up, all your preps. You're going to want to plan these meals out, and you're going to have to cook it. So having ways to cook this stuff up is a must. And like I said, you can, depending on what is going on in the world, sometimes you're not going to want to be outside cooking stuff up where you have smoke going up and things like this. So there's different methods of cooking. I've cooked over a candlelight before, so it's something to think about. You want to have, just like heating your home, you want to have a backup, and you want to have a backup for the backup and a backup for that backup. So you want to have multiple ways of heating. You also want to have multiple ways of cooking. Sure, it's no biggie to go out in your backyard and make a fire and cook on it. But then again, you got to know how to cook on that surface or whatever you're doing. So that's one major thing, is to make sure you can cook your food when things go bad, or no electricity, no gas, or anything like that. You're going to have backups for that. And then the next one, this one is not talked about hardly at all. I hardly ever see anybody talking about this one. This is number 4. This would be some way to waste management, I guess it would be. Ways to, yeah, you everybody's got to go to the bathroom. There's trash, there's things like that. You want to have a way, some off-grid waste system, I guess you would say it. So say you have no water in your house. Now, like I said before, there's different types of water. You can have some water that you're not going to drink. It's just for maybe the toilet. If you don't have running water, you can haul water up there and put it in the back of the toilet, and you can use it that way. Now, say that you can't do that. You have to have another way of a waste system to where you can get rid of this stuff. And it's not, because trust me, you can have buckets of poo in your house. Eventually people are going to get sick, and it's not a good thing. And you want to be clean. You want to have a way to clean yourself, stuff like that. You want to make sure you have enough, all that stuff. And there's ways of doing it. There's the compost toilets, things like that you can use. There's the old method of digging a hole. So you want to think ahead of this, because, like I said, I hardly ever see anybody talking about this. You hardly ever hear about the waste part of being a prepper. So you need to know this stuff, because Yeah, you just can't go and flush it down the toilet anymore. It's going to be part of where you're at. So you have to think about this ahead of time. So, like I said, learn ways of to get to get rid of that waste. I'll leave it at that. And the last one, believe it or not, it's going to be a bug out. You want to have your bug out bags. You want to have one for each member of the family. I'm not going to go through all the stuff that you need in the bug out bags or anything like that. I've had videos of my bug out bag, and I tend to not do too many bug out bag videos because there are so many experts of how to do bug out bags, and they get so irate about each and every little thing that's in it. And for me, I don't want to carry 200-pound bag on my back with all the stuff that people suggest I should have in my bug out bag. So you want to design the bug out bags for each member of your family. So you don't want your 8-year-old kid carrying a 80-pound bag now. So you have to design it for that person or child or whatever. And you want to have clean underwear, clean socks. That to me is one, especially socks, because you can trek through some icky stuff, and walking on in wet socks, dirty socks and stuff it can be very, very painful eventually. So that's one good thing. Like I said, I don't want to go into a lot of stuff, but you want to design it for that person, basically. That person doesn't really get cold that much. They're always taking clothing off in the winter months. They don't need as much winter gear as somebody else. Or if somebody's burns very easily, you want them to have longer sleeve clothing and hats and things like that. You customize the bug out bag for the person. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm going to say what you put in the bug out bags, because it's yeah. And then with that, you also want to have a plan, a set plan that everybody in that family knows what they're going to be doing, where they're going to be going, a meeting place. If you get separated, something happens mid route or whatever, and if something does happen, everybody meets here until everybody gets there, or something like that. Every plan, again, every plan needs a backup plan of the backup plan, basically. So always have a backup plan where you're going. You have, say you pick out one spot that a family member has out in the country somewhere that everybody's going to meet to. You get there and it's not safe. So what are you going to do? Oh, just going to give up, sit there? No, you're going to have a backup plan to go to the next location. And that's having a backup plan of a backup plan. But that is number 5, is have a bug out bags for every member of the family and a bug out plan. And with the plan, you want to have a backup plan. There we go. And that is the 5 steps right there, or the 5 things of my blueprint, or whatever you call it. And like I said, this is just a basic thing. I'm not going to go over every little step and everything. It's just a basic blueprint. Now, eventually, if everybody is into this video and it gets great reviews and views and all that stuff, maybe I'll go back to this and make it a series I'll go through each step and go more in depth of it. So I'll go into the food section of this, and then I'll go to the water section of it and make another video, and so on and so on. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think. But there it is. That's the basic blueprint for prepping. Until next time, guys, God bless.